Hey everybody, I'm David Marcel, and welcome to my Halloween extravaganza on my comic book obsession. What's that you say? David, what the heck are you doing? It's September? Oh, what can I say? If it's good enough for these guys, it's good enough for me. And today we have not one, not two, but 3 Batman Halloween-themed books. First up, Batman The Long Halloween. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's masterpiece, Batman The Long Halloween, is one of my favorite Batman books straight out. The Long Halloween takes place over the course of 1 year as Batman hunts the holiday killer, somebody who's knocking off his victims on a monthly basis during monthly holidays. On the side, he also faces the usual suspects, but before they were big, seeing how this takes place right after year 1. To add some of the trouble, you also have a war brewing between the Maroni family and the Falcone family. And you also get to witness the birth of one of Batman's greatest villains. All the storylines intertwine perfectly, setting up plenty of drama, suspense, and action. The artwork also is a character of its own, and it sets up the mood perfectly. The Art Deco, the inking, everything just works so well together. Sale isn't necessarily my favorite comic book artist, but he's spot on for this book. There's also Dark Victory, which picks up about a half a year after Long Halloween ends, and just kind of ties up a couple of loose threads left in that book. The characters are also pretty spot on, with the exception of Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter, who are just A, always together, and B, they just always are quoting children's rhymes from Lewis Carroll. I mean, okay, Mad Hatter I get, but Scarecrow? Really? But aside from that iffy characterization, this is absolutely a masterpiece. Up next we have Batman Vampire, or as it's called in its re-released form, Batman Elseworlds Volume 2. Batman Vampire is, in my opinion, Doug Moench and Killy Jones's best work ever. This just takes everything that's so perfect about that duo in one neat package. These story arcs see Batman going from superhero to literal monster. And it's pretty much like this. In the first story, Batman becomes a vampire to be able to stop Dracula. Then in the second one, he's fighting an army of vampires led by the Joker, being assisted by a Catwoman. And then in the third volume, Batman just embraces his bloodlust and lets go of his humanity and decides to cleanse Gotham, in what I like to playfully call Batman Eats the Arkham Universe. This was also very, very loosely adapted into the straight-to-DVD movie The Batman vs. Dracula, which is actually also a pretty fun movie and worth a look if you like the show The Batman. Batman Vampire is just an awesome gothic horror ride. And while we're on the subject of Batman fighting monsters, where Batman The Long Halloween is kind of the equivalent of M, and Batman Vampire is pretty much everything we liked about the 90s Dracula movie, Batman Night of the Monstermen is more like a trauma movie, like maybe The Toxic Avenger or Poultrygeist. And like all trauma masterpieces, there are people who passionately love it and people who really, really don't. Also, if you've never heard of Poultrygeist, either you're welcome or I'm really sorry. And I can see where some of the hatred for this book comes from, because let's be honest, it is a brain fart. It's a fun brain fart, but it's a brain fart. And I think everybody kind of has a problem with the fact that it's in the mainstream Batman universe instead of in an Elseworlds book. I think if this were an Elseworlds book, people would have liked it a whole lot more. Now in theory, it's a remake of the 40s story introducing Hugo Strange, which sounds awesome. It has Hugo Strange infecting a group of people, like in the 40s where he turned them into giants, and here he turns them into, well, a mix of the Titans from Attack on Titan and absolute nightmares, and all sorts of really, really messed up stuff. There's a ton of gore, and yeah, the story is so thin that a stiff breeze can cut right through it. But you know, the artwork is good, and it's just a fun bit of mayhem with Batman fighting giant monsters. And, you know, if that sounds like your cup of tea, you're probably going to enjoy this. And if you like your Batman to be a little more serious, like I generally do, then you're probably not gonna like this. I'm kinda on the fence. I kinda see it for the pure, stupid entertainment value. So just pretend it's an Elseworld story. It's not that hard. Nobody really ever references it again. And just enjoy. So there you have it. That's my try-view of some Batman Halloween books. Please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you like these Batman books. Let me know if you liked Poultrygeist. I'm David Marcel. This has been my comic book obsession. See you next time for the next Halloween special.